This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place?
The taco place?
Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RoadPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Bronco Nation? Welcome on into a live edition of Bronco Nation News here at BroncoNationNews.com. My name is BJ Rains, and we have our man Brad Bedell joining us as we do every Monday to break down Boise State's win over New Mexico. We got a lot to discuss in that game. We got a crazy weekend in college football, and obviously turning our attention to Saturday's game against UNLV, a showdown of the what many believe are the top two teams in the Mountain West Conference. Brad, James Franklin fired at Penn State, but gets $49 million, gets $900 and something an hour, I think it is, for the next 5 years to do absolutely nothing, and yet he'll probably have another SEC job in 2 months.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just interesting where this is going, right? You come in, you're really a couple plays away from going to the national title. You come out, expectations aren't met, lose 3 in a row, and you're out. Now, I mean, it's a nice landing pad. I mean, I've always had a lot of respect for Coach. He was the wide receivers coach when I played in Green Bay, so I've known him a while. I've always respected the way he does things, but it's, win or go home. And in that situation, they felt that they were obviously a national title contender, and you lose at Northwestern, not good. You get just pounded by UCLA. That's really not good.
No.
But, I don't know. It's kind of like the same thing. These schools, go back to Nebraska when they fired Frank Solich after a 10-win season. They were horrible thereafter. So you got to really be aware of what you do, right?
Yeah.
So who are you going to go get, right? I know there's a lot of things. I mean, don't tell me the head coach at Nebraska is going to come in there and turn Penn State around to be a national contender.
Well, he's from that town, I believe, and has a lot of deep ties there. Maybe he even went there.
Great. Look at a lot of people hire their close guys, and it doesn't always work. You just got to watch it. I mean, if I was at AD, the first call I'm making is Nick Saban willing to get out of retirement.
I said that to my buddies. I said, is there any chance Nick Saban – I actually threw that name out there.
I mean, look, if you look at it, they're not scared to spend money. They got an unbelievable fan base. You can recruit anywhere in the country, and
you would have them in the playoff next year.
And you pay him $15 million a year.
Well,
make him the highest paid coach in college football, and you're in great shape.
I know it's just the way we are now, but I mean, there's two great jobs: being a college football coach and being a fired college football coach, because and that kind of money, because I mean, you guys obviously on a much smaller scale got what you were owed, but to have $49 million waiting for you for the next 5 years, I mean, I wouldn't do a damn thing. But I know you coaches are just wired differently, and I know, like I said, there's going to be Arkansas or some SEC job open up or some Power 4 job. UCLA, maybe James Franklin would take UCLA. I don't know, but there's going to be some jobs open up that he'll probably have a job in 2 months. But if I had $49 million coming to me, I wouldn't even think about coaching for at least a year.
Yeah, I mean, it's his decision. Where is he at? Is he happy? Does he like where college football is going?
He's certainly not old enough to retire, probably, if he doesn't want to. But
no, but he's got the money to.
Oh, definitely. By the way, is there something I don't know here? The stable says Bedell to Oregon State with eye emojis.
The stable, BED. That's okay. I think this isn't the first time. I obviously, I don't know if Brian Harson's being suggested for that job. Maybe I'll go with him. For me to be the Oregon State head coach, that would be the greatest 2 years of any staff's lives.
You and Rid talked about that on a post-game show one time. You'd have a hell of a time, and then you'd be gone real quick.
I mean, I'd have a hell of a time. But I would do things. I would do things. If I was a head football coach, I would come in, and it's an amazing what you have to do these days. And the first hire you have to make is your strength conditioning coach. He is literally the most important person to hire on your staff, not a coordinator, not your special teams guy. I'd go get him, and then I'd get the staff, and I'd be on a plane if they even have private planes. And you got to re-recruit all your kids. That's what I do. And then I come in. We would have the greatest time of all time.
Do you? I mean, every position coach, every assistant coach. I was just gonna say, like every position coach. Like I was thinking of Dan Campbell. I was watching him last night, and I thought in the post game he said some great stuff about the guy that punched the dude on the Chiefs in the post game. He's like, we won't, go for that. That's unacceptable, whatever. But he was, a position coach, worked his way up, and whatever. Like, I mean, I assume every head coach, starts at a lower level. So I mean, everybody like yourself probably thinks like, hey, if I ever no one's ever thinking about me for head coach, but if I ever got it, I could do a heck of a job.
Yeah, well, I can promise you that's not happening. So,
but you are very loyal to Brian Harsin, and if he ever got a head coaching job, you would consider going to work for him again.
I am a huge Brian Harsin fan for what he's done to my family. I will always be very loyal to Brian Harsin. But there's a lot of things going on in my life and my family's life that we'd have to talk about. And I don't think it's always the right situation to jump. You got to, at my age, and obviously a coach's deal, you got to look at some things and where is that program going? And Oregon State is a freaking dumpster fire right now. I mean, they did all that
around.
Yeah, they did. They did all the maintenance. They've got the brand new stadium. Everything's good. They got left high and dry. So now, where's the money coming from? How are we going to pay the kids? Where's your NIL? How much of the revenue sharing are you guys willing to put out? What's my recruiting budget?
Yeah.
Okay, my recruiting budget's here. So now I know I'm not going east of Texas. Can't afford it. So no sense in doing it because now all the unofficial or the official visits, you got to pay for that. So there's a lot of things you got to look at as a head coach and things like that. But you got to look at where's the projection of the program, and is it so bad? Are you just the setup guy, right? You're the setup guy to put it in the right spot and not win enough, and now you're going to get fired. And so now the next guy is going to reap all the benefits. And you're starting to see that a little bit with, especially defensively at San Diego State. It's finally clicking, and Brady Hope brought some really good players in there defensively. Offensively, no, that was not great.
Yep.
But I think now you're starting to see them roll a little bit. So you would just have to look at where's the projection of that football program going, how much money are they willing to throw at it, and look at the job rankings right now. Arkansas is really bottom tier because even the AD goes and says, hey, we can't afford SEC football right now. So, yeah, I really want that job. I want to go play Alabama, Georgia, and all them and be in the bottom 15% of pay. No thanks. You're just going to get killed and move on.
There's, a pretty good amount of Power 4 jobs that are now open. The coaching carousel is going to be pretty crazy this offseason with some big jobs and folks moving and more jobs expected to open. There were 3 firings yesterday. The Oregon State coach, as he said, and we mentioned Penn State, and then Trent Dilfer let go at UAB as well. So 3 openings yesterday. I'm sure more will come here in the near future. Some folks calling for Spencer Danielson after the Notre Dame game. The post-game chat, on Saturday, folks were, still taking some small shots in terms of their frustration with where things are at. But Boise State wins 41-25. Wasn't necessarily the prettiest game in all facets, Brad, but they win the game. They don't probably cover the spread in some eyes with that 2-point conversion there in garbage time with Boise State's, number 2 defensive unit in there, lets them drive down the field and not only score, but get an extra point, 16.5-point spread, and ends at 16 on the 2-point conversion. You can't tell me Jason Eck didn't have any idea what the spread was in that game. But either way, you win by 16, you get a win, you're still undefeated in Mountain West play, and you move on. A lot to discuss from this game, Brad, but just generally, what were your thoughts from the 41-25 win over New Mexico?
One, I think the defense is playing really well. I think they played really well. Offensively, it's hit and miss. It's good. They played well. Don't get me wrong. It's always something's popping up. The pre-snap penalties popped up again. And I know, we could talk about that, but, I think quarterback played well. Running game. I mean, you're not going to get great average per carry. Would they rush the ball 50-something times, I think?
Yeah.
So, 54 attempts for 161. At 54
and it was,
attempts.
First half, it was 30 attempts for 53 yards.
Yeah, I think they'd be over 250 at 56 attempts. But, that's give New Mexico credit. But at the end of the day, when you turn the ball over, like New Mexico did, you're going to win big. And, I understand everybody wants to see a brand of football through Boise State. But I think you got to celebrate wins. And it's not easy. It's not easy. And that's not coaching speak. It's just a fact. There's a lot of people went down. And so I think you got to celebrate the wins and be worried about your future opponent and where that's going and where you're at. But you gotta love the wins and understand you're tied for the winningest streak of home games, in the country. And the other thing is like, it was weird going out, and I, after the show, I always went out to the tailgate and see friends and do all that. I'll tell you what, that the parking lot was empty. It was weird. It was like there was like 7 or 8, 9, 10, 15 spots empty. I was like, where are we going with this? Like, this is a bigger game than people. Every game, in my opinion, for Boise State can be a big game. Okay, it's a long shot. We talked about this in the pregame. It's a long shot. I understand that. But at the end of the day, the team and Boise State's goal first is to win the Mountain West Conference Championship. Because if you don't, you can't go anywhere. You're going to go to the Poop Bowl in some podunk town in the South. And so, you got to win your conference. And then in Boise cases is they need some people to stumble along the way. And we'll see if South Florida stumbles. They're rolling right now. They beat the ever-living crap out of North Texas. So it's just, that's the one thing, is that you can't go anywhere. And I know I saw some things like, well, we don't base our season off a Mount West title championships. Yes, you do. You have to, or you're not going anywhere. And so I understand everyone wants to see Boise go to the playoff, and I do too. I think last year was so much fun. But if you don't win the title, you can't go anywhere. So you better hope for a title win.
Yeah. Well, let's get into this crowd thing for a minute, because the athletic director, Jeremiah Dickey, did have a what I would call a pretty honest assessment in a tweet afterwards when somebody said something. And early on, Brad, because a lot of the crowd you mentioned the parking lot being empty. A lot of the crowd left at halftime. And I know, and at that point it was a 17-14 game. And I know it was a little bit later. There was a little bit of rain, but it wasn't like it was just pouring down rain for an hour. It was a brief shower is what I would call. First of all, a night game, 7:45 start, Brad. That does allow you to have the light show. This was the scene as the Broncos took the field. It was pretty electric to start the game. So Broncos take the field. Nice crowd to start the game. Good full house for the first half. A little bit of rain hits, and part of the problem was, Brad, is it did start raining with like a minute left before halftime. So it was like the perfect timing for folks to just go, we can watch the second half at home. But it was pretty glaring how empty things were in the second half. And I'll pull up a picture here that I had on Twitter. But it was pretty empty in the second half. Folks noticed it. They had some big recruits who were in town for the game. And this was a photo that, let's see if I can pull it up here properly. And again, I'm not necessarily even ripping on the fans here. I'm just pointing it out because the athletic director himself pointed this out. And I thought it was very interesting. This was literally Brad Bedell, the kickoff of the second half. Here was the crowd here in the student section. Student section was full at first half. They all pretty much left. So this was the student section kickoff at halftime, right when the third quarter started. And then if I would have had a larger photo to the right, I would say at least a third of the crowd, Brad, left at halftime. They even tried to do some stuff where they had some giveaways for fans to stick around, at least students. They raffled off some stuff in the fourth quarter if you were still there. Didn't seem to really help. And then somebody... as you see on the screen here, somebody mentioned stud quarterback commit on his visit. The stadium bailed because of rain. Got to say that wasn't a great look, BSU tweeps. And the athletic director, Jeremiah Dickey, writing back, no, it was not. Extremely disappointing. Fired up. More to come. So the athletic director himself, extremely disappointing to see as many fans leave as they did. Brad, is that just, hey, it's just bad circumstances? It rained a little bit. It was a little bit cooler, even though it was, in the 50s still. And it was, 9:30 at halftime when folks wanted to leave, and that's too late? Or is this a bad look that needs to be fixed for a team that has now the longest winning streak, as you said, the sellout streak that they have, all that they've done? What do you make of, over a third of the crowd leaving at halftime?
The Boise State students made a decision to go to Boise, Idaho, where it gets cold.
It wasn't even cold. It was in the 50s, right?
Well, when you get some of these freshmen from California in the first cold night, they want to run their butt home. Or mom and dad came up from a warm climate because it's parents' weekend, and mom wants to get out of the rain. So, hey, can we go to dinner early? I think it's not good. It's kind of, I'll say it, it's embarrassing, to be honest with you. And when you got your quarterback committed that is desperately needed, you may want to stick around. Now, to their defense, excuse, the students don't know the quarterback or is in the crowd or they're there. I understand that, but it's like that better not happen come UNLV. This coming Saturday, that place better be rocking because they need them. Boise State has a distinct home field advantage because of the fans. Okay. And yeah, I saw some will put a better product on the field. They won by 16. So don't tell me put a better product in the field. Don't do that. You tied for the longest win streak at home. Okay. I believe it's Alabama, if I'm correct. I mean, you can't, those players rely on the fan base so much because it is a distinct home field advantage, especially for the defense. And when you have the nation's long, I'm going to say it again, that's not because of the Boise State plays at home. That's because of the fan base and the passion of the fan base. And so they are needed. And if I got to say it, please don't leave. Don't leave. I don't care if it's pouring rain or snowing come Saturday at 1:30. Don't leave. Those kids need you. The players need you. The program needs you. And so, everybody wants to take pride in that I'm a huge Boise State fan and I go to all the games. Well, then stay. Other than that, you're just donating to the university. Here's my ticket. I'm leaving. Okay. Well, how about this? Give the ticket to a fan that's going to stay all game and then donate your money back to the school. That's all I can say about that. Please don't leave. The kids need you.
And again, I know it's easy and everyone likes to get on me when they say, oh, you're sitting in the press box, free tickets, free food, whatever. And I do understand that. But
you can't, that's not a fair comparison because it's your job.
I understand that, but whenever I say something negative towards the fans, I get criticized because it's like, oh, it must be, it wasn't wet for you up in the stands. It was nice and dry and warm. But okay, I will say this, like,
does the university offer you, or does the press offer you to sit in the crowd?
No, I'm assigned.
Then that's what I'm saying. It's not an argument. You do not have an option because you are press.
I appreciate you saying that, but my main point was, if you only get 6 games a year. I mean, we do this show every single day for 365 whatever days, take off weekends and holidays, whatever. I mean, we do probably 300 shows a year, Brad, or whatever it is. And if you're a fan and you're watching these shows every day, like, it's for 6 home games. There's 6 days, and that's always been even for basketball. You're a huge basketball fan. There's 15 home games out of 365 days. Like, for one day on a Saturday night to be staying a little late or be a little cold or a little wet, like, I just if I was a fan, if I lived in Lawrence, Kansas and had season tickets to Kansas games or whoever my team was or my school, like, you only get 6 games to go. So that's why it's just like the first little bit of rain for a third of the stadium to leave. I was just a little surprised that it was that big of a difference. I wasn't going to make a huge deal of it, honestly, because I thought, oh, here we go. People will just rip me again. And then, like I said, when the athletic director tweets it out, it obviously was a big deal to him, which makes it a big deal that we need to talk about.
And it's a big deal to the kids. It's a big deal to the program. And it's also a big deal because of the way the stadium's set up this year and the opposite team is on that side. I mean, that's, you know what I mean? It's just like, you need to, I'm not going to hammer the fan base on it. I just wish it didn't happen. Just because for the kids' sake and for the program's sake. And
I mean, it's always been a problem with the students leaving early. It's just, it is what it is.
Always, that was been a problem everywhere else. Everywhere I went except for, unless you're getting blown out in the SEC. The students don't leave.
No.
But everywhere you go, I mean, Colorado, they used to leave, things like that. Now, I just don't, it's not like ski season's going on right now. I don't know. Is hunting season started?
Yeah, it is going on. So,
I mean, I don't, that's a interesting, I don't think there's a lot of dynamics. You're not fighting for a lot of stuff here. It's just, it got cold and a little rainy. I get it. To some people, I understand that. I mean, there's some people just won't do it. But like I said, just 1:30 game, that game happened.
I don't think that'll be a problem on Saturday. I wouldn't think that'd be a problem for this game. So hopefully it was kind of a blip in the road. And Anthony Hernandez just gave us $9.99 on a super chat here, Brad. So I'll buy you a beer next time I see you. I agree. I wish I lived in Boise, but I did get to see them at USF. No matter how bad or good the players have to play, then I'm supposed to be with them the whole game. So there's a true fan there. He's not leaving early no matter what.
The fans got to wither through the misery too, like the players.
Hey, you sign up for 60, right? Is that what the phrase is? I mean, you sign up for 60. You're a fan. You pay your money for the ticket. You want to, and I get it. Everybody has different circumstances, Brad, with small kids or whatever. And maybe you didn't.
Sure.
I didn't think this was some. And again, being upstairs in the box, maybe I didn't feel it, but we have the windows open up there. It didn't seem like it was. When we've been in that stadium when it's been 15 degrees, 20 degrees before, we're talking 50s. It's not like it was in the 20s. And so I don't know cold when they're saying it got cold. I don't necessarily know if it actually got cold or not. And anyone that saw the high that day was 60 should have known to bring a sweatshirt or something. And I didn't even think the rain was that bad. It rained for like 5 minutes a couple different times, and it wasn't even a absolute torrential downpour. It was just a light rain. So I don't know. I was a little surprised to see that many people leave when this. I mean, it was a 17-14 game too, Brad. It's one thing if Boise State's up 21 points at halftime or something. Hey, let's get home and get ready for church in the morning. Like, I understand it, but when it's a 3-point game in a game you have to win, and as you said, the side of the stadium where the other team is, a third of the fans are gone. Like, see, this is what I'm talking about. I'm stirring the pot. When the athletic director tweeted about it and called it extremely disappointing, it's me stirring the pot. Like I said, I might not have even brought it up today if I hadn't seen the athletic director himself call it extremely disappointing. So when the athletic director basically publicly calls out fans for it, I think it's worth discussing on the show.
I mean, I agree, but what the stable just said, sometimes stirring the pot goes two ways. Sometimes you stir the pot, maybe like, hey, yeah, maybe we should stay the whole game, or it's going to be the opposite. If you two don't know what you're talking about, so beat it. That's fine. I mean, there's going to be two odds of the spectrum. It's just, it happened. Move on. I get it. It's just, when you're at halftime and you've got that, at least I had it, that knot in my stomach. Like, you guys better come out in the second half and get going.
And the team runs out, and a third of the team's running out for a season-defining second half, and they run out of the tunnel, and there's a third less of the stadium there to cheer for them.
Right. It's like there's some things you expect, right? Especially when I was here at Boise State. You play on a Friday night. Bronco walks at 4:45. Okay, Bronco walks will be empty. Totally understand that. People work for a living. You know what I mean? Then they get to the game as fast as they can. It's usually a late start, then it fills in. Right? This was the opposite, rocking early, and people made decisions. And I'm never going to tell somebody what to do with their lives and what decision they're going to make. They made the decision to leave. That's their decision. It's a personal decision. I just hope that decision, I just hope this at halftime, if you're thinking, okay, hey, what do you think about leaving? And it's Saturday at 1:30 or whatever, or 3:00 when that game kicks off the second half against UNLV. I just hope it's full and it's rocking, and because they're going to need them.
BSU Bill says, to be fair, the team played with zero juice in the first half. Well, the defense did, but the offense, special teams were anemic. Not defending the fans, just saying the team played flat early on. So we'll move on to the game, Brad. I just thought it was worth bringing up since the athletic director did bring it up, and it is, was a pretty big topic. And I would say both can be true. We can say, hey, fans have individual decisions to make. We're not telling you, what to do with your money, your time. Like, some people had kids, didn't have the right clothes, whatever. Like, I understand it, but also the same can be true that it was a bad look to have a third of the stadium be gone, and your athletic director had to tweet about it and call it extremely disappointing. So I would just say that both can be true there, and I would suspect Saturday against UNLV, because of it being in the afternoon, because of what would probably be a competitive game as well, better conditions, daytime. I would assume we're not going to be talking about this on Saturday, but
I would agree, but he does bring a fair point a little bit. Not that they came out flat, but very inconsistent offense. When they start fast and there's points rolling, guys, they're jumping up and down out of their seat, and both sides of the ball. It brings a lot of attention. That brings some energy. That brings the fans are like, I ain't missing a thing here. Are you kidding me? We're about to put 50 on these guys in the first half. I ain't leaving. You know what I mean? It's like, he brings up a good point.
Hey, Matt Boucher, Boucher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley, is Matt Boucher and Boucher Real Estate. Matt's going to join us later this week as we get set for Friday's exhibition game. Boise State and Idaho playing downtown at Idaho Central Arena on Friday night. And Matt Boucher, Boucher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley, We appreciate him. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, check out Matt and his team. Ridley's Family Markets. Shop Ridley's.com. They got locations across the state of Idaho, surrounding states. Love that Kuna location. If you're heading up to McCall, they got a great location there as well. Shop Ridley's.com. Find a location near you. Download that Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. Hey, Transportation Compliance Service, transcompservice.com. Transportation Compliance Service. They can help you get into the trucking industry, all the paperwork and things you need. Transportation Compliance Service online at transcompservice.com. TheSpaTeam.com, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. TheSpaTeam.com, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. Whether it's a sauna, a spa, pool table, dartboard, they got you covered. Check them out online at TheSpaTeam.com. And hey, Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate Taco Bell and their support of Bronco Nation News. I think Thursday we'll be back out at the Taco Bell location with Johnny. TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. Again, great food, great delicious food at cheap prices, great hours, and they are hiring. So if you're looking for a job, check them out at TacoBellWorks.com. All right, Brad, I said I want to do a brief contest here. We did say for anyone that left us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox, we were going to give away a $500 gift card to Shields. This is courtesy of Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com. They ponied up and said, hey, let's get the voicemails going. And so last week, if anybody left us a voicemail all of last week, we put your name in for a $500 gift card to Signature Roofing to Shields, from Signature Roofing to Shields. Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, an inspection, they do a tremendous job at Signature Roofing. They put a new roof on our house. Tremendous stuff. The people there are just really good. They're sponsoring the RJ Keene show as well. So we really appreciate Signature Roofing and them just kind of randomly texting me, hey, let's give away a $500. We're not talking $50 gift card, Brad. We're talking a $500 gift card to Shields. You can do some damage there. And we really appreciate them for doing that and for stepping up and for wanting to give away the Shields gift card for $500 for anybody that wanted to step up last week with a voicemail. So we use the wheelofnames.com. Brad found a free website that gives away, can help us pick a random winner here. And I think we had about 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like 14, maybe, if I counted right. If I don't think I missed anybody. If you gave us a voicemail last week and for whatever reason your name is not on here, I apologize. I will add you to the next one. But I believe I went through and got all of the voicemails. If you did leave us more than one, I really appreciate that. But like I said, we're only going to do one giveaway, one entry per person, or we would just have folks flooding the voicemail box, with multiple entries here. But for this one, we just went one. And Brad, let's go ahead and give this away. $500 to Shields gift card here. This is a random spin, 20 seconds, I believe it is. And we're going to see who it is. We appreciate everybody for putting in their voicemails. We appreciate everybody for their time and their thoughts. We're going to give this $500 gift card away to
Jen C.
Looks like it's stopping on Jen. Jen C. Appreciate your voicemail, Jen. I know she's a big BNN subscriber and supporter, and really appreciate that, Jen. Thank you so much for your voicemail and for watching the shows and things. Jen, you will win a $500 gift card to Shields. I will be in touch with you on that. And Brad, happy to announce that the guys at Shields said, let's run it back. Let's do it again this week. So all this week, you can leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox line at speakpipe.com/BNN. And then we will be, she's watching right now. She said, OMG. So, Jen, congratulations. We will be in touch with you on getting you your $500 gift card to Shields. And we appreciate you for your comments. So, someone's asking if Jen gets a voicemail acceptance speech. Yeah, she can leave another voicemail if she'd like to. But all this week, we're doing it again. So leave us a voicemail the rest of the week, Tuesday through Friday. We're also going to include the post-game show. And thanks to Signature Roofing, we'll give away another $500 gift card, $500 to Shields next week on Bronco Nation News. We did have one voicemail, Brad, already in the hopper for today. Jesse wants to be first in line to try to win the $500 for next week. It's a two-parter because he ran out of time. They only give you the 90 seconds here. But here is Jesse chiming in on the running back depth chart and also Maddox Madsen.
Hey, BJ, it's Jesse. I just wanted to say that I think Dylan Riley definitely deserves to be RB1. He definitely looked like he had the most yards per touch out of all the running backs. He definitely put away that game for us at the end. Without Dylan, I don't think we even win this game, to be honest with you. It just seemed like our running backs were just running flat. Sire had 2 touchdowns, but I think Riley should have been given some of those carries to get the touchdowns. I don't know. It's just my opinion. But I think Sire's RB2 and Sherrod should be used more as a gadget type player, like an end around fly sweep, something with a screen, in the screen game, or heck, even as a slot wide receiver type running back / thing, something to throw the defense off. He should be definitely put in 2 RB packages with Sire or Riley out there at the same time. I do want to say that Madsen looked kind of hurt to me. I noticed when he was running back to the sideline, he was always wincing in pain, and he looked like he was favoring his ankle quite a bit. I wonder if that was the reason why he was throwing low passes and just wasn't hitting his wide receivers as well as he normally does. I'd like your thoughts on that, but I think Madsen, if he's hurt, he should definitely try to sit out. I know I'd rather have a Hey BJ, it's Jesse again with his second part. It just looked like to me that Madsen was favoring that ankle. I don't know if you guys noticed it or anybody else noticed it, but when I was watching on TV, it looked like he was in pain every time he came to the sideline. Just your thoughts on it. It looked like that's why he was underthrowing his receivers and throwing them low, and it just didn't look very good, in my opinion. And then I don't know what it is, and maybe you can ask Brad or whoever is on the show with you. Does it seem like Madsen likes to throw beelines to our receivers at 5 or 6 yards out? Like, he doesn't seem like he has a good touch when it comes to receivers that are within a 10-yard mark. Seems like he's always overthrowing it and trying to throw it as hard as he can, like a fastball. I think if he lets it off a little bit, some of those passes are completed, like the one to Riley today and the one to Marshall. I think those ones all get completed if he doesn't throw beelines like he's throwing. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. And heck of a play by Mickey, and Mickey looks solid out there today. I definitely am excited. I hope that Boise utilizes Mickey a lot more, and next week we're going to need him against UNLV, so we need to shut down that offense pretty good, and our defense needs to step up.
All right, Jesse, appreciate the 2-parter there. Let's start with the running backs, Brad. Dylan Riley gets over 100 yards. He had, and again, leave us a voicemail, Signature Roofing, voice inbox, speakpipe.com/BNN all week, and we'll throw your name in the hat. Jesse's the first one in there for a $500 gift card to Shields next week. Dylan Riley, 18 attempts, 101 yards, averages 5.6 yards per carry. Sire Gaines gets 2 more attempts, 20, but only rushes for 65 yards. Sire Gaines did get both rushing touchdowns. Dylan Riley had a long of 28. Sire's long was 12. And it's Riley averaging 5.6 yards a carry, Gaines averaging 3.3. Those are the 2 clearly 1 and 2 backs right now. Sherrod only got 7 carries, but only 16 yards. He's averaging 2.3. Breezy Dubar was out there on kickoff, so he's back healthy, but he can't even get 1 carry. He's just so far down the depth chart right now. Where are you? I know I asked you on the pregame show, I believe, Brad, about kind of how you rank the running backs. Did you see anything in that game that changes things for you on Saturday?
It's interesting. Sire Gaines got some of the red zone carries, which obviously now, 2 touchdowns. I think Dylan Riley ran really hard, to be honest with you. I think he missed a tackle. I mean, he made some people miss. He's a physical back. Riley also had the 28-yarder, which helps his average. I don't know. I thought Dylan played really well, and so I think they went with him towards the end of it. I would say I can go back to the hot hand, but it's almost evenly spaced, So I think he just had a better game, to be quite honest with you. I think he saw it better. I think he made some people miss, which extended some longer runs. So I think he played better. And, Sire did have the 2 TDs. but he didn't really have anything real explosive that's the room's not separated. Nobody's separating themselves. So I think it's going to be it's like I said, it's a hot hand. But in that case, Dylan did make some people miss and had some physical runs. So I think he just played better. I still think you need to be the two horse pony show and kind of take it as it goes. I do think, Sherrod only has 7 carries. I think that, that's a couple more carries less than he's had this season. And so I think their goal or going to this game is going to be those two. And I think Riley played a little bit better. And so I think it shows statistically.
Question here for you, Brad, from Bronco 130. BJ asked Brad about the O-line play. That seemed to be the issue. We got 0 push the whole game. What'd you make of the O-line play? And, Cage Casey even got called for a penalty, his first of the season, second of his career in 2,000-plus starts. He had a false start. Some other penalties that continue the procedural kind of pre-snap false starts and things. The O-line, where are you at with the O-line right now?
Well, I think because let's start with the pre-snap penalties. I think, sometimes it's just a lot, I want to say concentration, but you get kind of lost in the mix of where they're at in the snap count sometimes, especially if you're running they're not I know they are some 2-play system stuff, where, they're checking different plays, they're killing the different plays and things like that. You really got to lock in and stay concentrated on the snap count. It's like anybody, if you can hear the National Football League when they're doing a 2-play system, all of a sudden you hear the quarterback scream, turbo, set, means I'm changing it right now. Turbo means give me the ball. We're running out of time here. And so I think you just gotta stay locked in. The play from the huddle, you really got 5 seconds. Play from the huddle, make the call, read new play, make the call. You better know what the snap count was. And so I think they just got to continue to stay locked in on that. And sometimes it's a concentration getting locked in and being dialed in on the play. It's not I don't consider that a huge discipline deal. It's a concentration deal. And so, when I had that happen, the players ran for every penalty they had per yard. And it was not running. It was either rolls or up downs or push-ups. There's accountability. And they're doing that. I know that for a fact. I think you're starting to see a little bit, especially with the Eck, the head coach's kid, a lot of movement. And so, we saw this a little bit last year. Some of the movements and slants and things like that, getting on edges, and that creates some not only non-movement plays, but it also created some tackles for loss or no gain. And so that's something that, they're gonna really work on this week. That'll get fixed. Especially, I know UNLV in the past. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of UNLV games with this defensive coordinator, but I think movement has always been a little key here. We had to work on a lot when I had the guys, so I think that's going to get fixed. And so, I was a little surprised to give up 4, but they did, and so that's back-to-back weeks. So.
And 10 in the first half, New Mexico had 10 tackles for loss.
Right. And so they came out with a play of movements, and what they're going to find and what they know, the coaches know, nobody's just going to line up and play this offensive line straight up. You can't. They're going to get smoked. So now they're going to create they're trying to figure out the advantage of movements. They did some run game twists, which are really tough to handle up front, especially on first down when you're running the ball. And so those are the things that need to be worked on that I think will be worked on and things like that. And, we talked about it before the year. You got a different tailback back there. And so now some of those things that made people miss, and that's why he's the 6th round pick, could not be happening all the time now. So I think they're going to really work on it. I know they're going to work on it. I would say it's going to improve, but it's got to get better.
Well, Brad, can't keep our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, waiting any longer. When he chimes in, we put him on. Andy Rowe joins us. Andy, there he is, our title sponsor. Brad, Andy, first of all, how you doing? Not hearing you, though, Andy. Is that 2 weeks in a row with the damn AirPods? Come on, Andy. Unless you muted yourself. Nope, don't see that either. He's talking right now about how great and amazing rowpaint.com is, folks. You just can't hear him.
Don't forget the free quotes. You come out there, you get a free quote.
Yes. Rowpaint.com, our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, working on his the beard's still in perfect shape, though. Nope, still can't hear you. Nope, still can't hear you, Andy. Let's see here. Maybe when you come out and come back in and then click where your mic's coming from when you click on the settings there. Brad, any final thoughts from you? We're gonna I'm gonna talk to Andy here, and we'll keep it going and talk to our title sponsor. And he obviously is actually a huge fan and knows a ton about what's going on with this team, and is very committed, obviously, with his dollars to be a Boise State sponsor and a sponsor of ours. But Brad, we did have someone asking about, can you bring a whiteboard next week and they wanted to talk about the O-line struggles. But we are going to try, I can say, next week to maybe get back to picking a few plays and talking about those. There's some copyright issues with YouTube, but I think we might just say screw it and just that was good stuff. And if we get flagged for it, we get flagged for it. So let me know. We'll try that next week, and you'll give me some plays and things like that because you do have the expertise of that. What did you make quickly, Brad, of the fake field? Well, the field goal gone wrong turned into a touchdown. The punter, they're calling fire drill. It was he drops the snap, and then Troy Grizzle, local kid. My son plays baseball with him. They're cousins with his, I guess, nephew or something, or cousin. So I know his, the Grizzle family a little bit, and that's not him and his family, but the extended family. And shout out Chris Grizzle. But pretty cool. I mean, two guys that never would have thought they'd be in that position, at least in that situation. I'm sure they have fakes, somewhere dialed up, but he hears it. He gets open. What'd you make of that play?
I thought it made a great play, make up for the bad, I guess. I mean, it was fire, made the play, touchdown. I think it was awesome. It was exciting and it wasn't ideal, but they took advantage of it. I think everybody asked. I think the kickoff return, their big one, is some young man got out of his lane and created an explosive play. That's got to be, just drilled into him. The one thing that I think that you could tell especially the second half, the aggressiveness of go for it on fourth down 7 times. There were 6 of 7 on fourth down. So they were aggressive. The other thing is 5 for 5 in the red zone. So, that's going to continue to get better. I think those are two things that are really sneaky, and offensively that was really good, to be honest with you. And then, I want to bring up this. They did give up the 4 sacks, and I want to go back because I said yards per carry. They really rushed the ball for 223 at 4.1. Remember, sack yardages in college football sacks go against rushing, where in the NFL it's opposite. So, I do think that the tackles for loss, we hit that, but on average is better when you take out the sack yardage. You can make sacks go either way. It doesn't matter. But once again, for a third down, 7 of 18. So, there's some things that are going really well offensively. We just need to, once again, I said it. One thing I'd like to go back is what do I said? I said I wanted a fast start in 21-0 in the first quarter. Okay, that didn't happen.
Defense started fast. Got the pick on the first play.
I'm talking about, offensively. I think I wouldn't be surprised if I was sitting in there in that building on yesterday. I'd be interested to see how much they had to burn the chalkboard on the sideline. I want to see. I think they came in with some different looks that they haven't seen all year. And so I think that's why it took the offense a little longer to get going, because they had to make some adjustments. I think they had to make a lot of adjustments during halftime, because I wouldn't be shocked if they came out and said, you know what, we saw some things, maybe some blitz patterns, some movements, some games that they had not seen all season. And so now they're burning the chalkboard and the whiteboard on the sideline, trying to make all these adjustments. And they finally, hey, let's get into halftime. Got into halftime, had a great
Nathan was wondering if they had their signals or something. If they had to tell on some of their signals in the first half.
Well, it's hard to tell because there are a lot of times they're a huddle team. They huddle quite a bit. You don't have those. They're going hard call, whatever. I don't know. I'm not getting into that game. I'm not
happy now, Andy.
Yeah, you hear me now?
There he is. Hey, we got him.
Yeah.
Technology.
How are you, Andy?
I do think we can hammer everything about the first half about offense, but you got to give credit where credit's due. They went into the second half and they made the adjustments to come out and get the 16-point win, and not to mention put another 40 burger on the board.
What'd you make of the outcome there, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about the crowd I heard earlier. I get that. It's a win. You know, Spencer said it. Wins are hard. Winning is hard, and they got it done. So, obviously, Brad's giving you a lot of great insight, especially with the O-line. I think those are legitimate questions. You know, it's frustrating to see our O-line get a false start when we're at home. So you want to see that cleaned up. And I guess if you look at how many penalties and how much we were penalized, we dropped by about half from the week before. So you can see improvement on it, but that's probably a frustrating part for any fan, you know, is to see the penalties the better of you.
I mean, and pre-snap penalties, they're just glaring, right? It's like the offensive line moves, go to the camera, look at this dumbass just jumped off sides. I mean, it is what it is. You take one a game, but the other thing is away, you kind of have like, okay, it's loud, yada, yada, yada. Home, they just need to lock in a little bit, and it'll get fixed, and it's coming from, you know, positions had more than others, right? I'm not going to call any kid out. But those are the things, like, it's almost like you got to revisit his pre-snap. Like, what's your process pre-snap, right? Every player has got a different way of doing it. So now you almost got to look, okay, let's talk about your process pre-snap. You get to play. What are you doing? Okay. Are you communicating? Okay. How late are the communication calls? Because when I said lost in the snap count early, if they're sitting over there and they're going, no, deuce, no, quad. Here we go. So that, and all of a sudden, I jump because I thought, and I mistracked this where the quarterback is in the snap count. And so you got to look at some of those, the process of the pre-snap on some players and go, no, I'm getting calls late. Okay, now we have a fundamental issue of communication. So you just got to look at all those things that are going to get addressed probably yesterday and things like that.
By the way, Boise State 127th in the country right now, guys, averaging 8.5 penalties per game. But believe it or not, UNLV also has 8.5 penalties per game, 127. So those officials on Saturday need to be stretching out that arm a little bit. They're going to be pulling the flags plenty, it looks like, on Saturday.
Well, hopefully not like the Notre Dame game, because that was just a laundry party on both sides. It was not enjoyable to watch.
Oh, God. The UNLV's had some dumbass ones. Extended drives. So, I mean, those boys.
Well, it happened again to Boise State as well. That the Jaden Virgin Morgan, they called it unnecessary roughness. And I'll be honest, I didn't even see the play because I was writing down a note. They called an after the play penalty on Jaden Virgin Morgan, which would have forced a punt and instead keeps the drive alive, I believe. And they come down and score a touchdown, which gave them the lead, I think, at that point.
Right. I don't know.
I didn't see the replay of that in the state. They showed the replay in the stadium, but it wasn't clear what he did or what happened.
Exactly. Nobody knows. The only guy who threw the flag that wanted to make himself relevant on TV said, "Oh, okay, here we go. I haven't thrown a flag in a while." I don't know.
Boise State benefited from one, too. They were going to have to punt, I believe, at one point, and they called a hold in the secondary or something, kind of a late as well, which led to a Boise State touchdown.
Yeah, I think I'd be interested to see if the penalties overall, just watching overall college football this year, there seem to be more penalties. I don't know why. It's just weird. It's just one of those things. It's like they're harping on some things, and if it's remotely close, throw the flag. I mean, I don't know. It's not.
You can't convince me that they don't do makeup penalties. They do, and you see them happen, and then you get this lopsided thing going on where everybody's kind of pissed off and playing dodgy. They don't know what they can and can't get away with. So they just need to be better, in my opinion. That non-PI in the Oregon game was absolutely ridiculous. You know, you watch a guy get mugged, and you're like, everybody that watches football knows that was a PI.
Dude, and trust me, I was canned from the school. Don't tell me Auburn didn't get jobbed versus Georgia. Come on. That's the second week in a row.
Hey, I'm clapping.
Right. I'm
clapping.
And don't even talk about the Oklahoma. They robbed them in Oklahoma too. So don't. Yeah. Well, and trust me, I'm not a huge fan of what replaced us, but they got robbed. Pure as day. The SEC is known for it. I'm not going to disrespect. These are the top tier. These are the ones that are going to go to the college playoff. The rest of you guys, I kind of gotta throw a flag here because we really need this team to win. We need to keep this team up here, especially Georgia.
Yeah, where's College Game Day this week? They don't want to mess up that big matchup that's happening.
Exactly. And makeup calls, I guarantee they make up calls. Guaranteed. And the good head coaches push the envelope to a point where it's no flag. But now they're like, that's wrong. Oh, you're right. I think you're right. It's, good head coaches just pick on him. On that sideline guy, pick on him. Don't get a flag. Don't really make him upset. But now all of a sudden, this guy actually knows what he's doing. He's calling the game. He knows the game. That's a holding call on the wide receiver. You know what? You're right.
By the way, Brad, more people have agreed with Andy in the last 5 minutes than agreed with us on the whole show so far. So.
I haven't said much.
He brought up a good point. I agree with you.
Easy gig. Just shoot down the refs. Everybody will get on board with that.
If you really, at least the Power 5, right? And I don't know if they have. It could be way out of the box here. But the NFL, they went to full-time jobs, right? Now, college football, I believe a guy's flying in from his job, right? I mean, there's some studying going on here. And as the game gets faster and bigger and stronger, and you got to stay on it. And there has to be something that – because eventually, like Georgia or like Oklahoma, Auburn, it's costing games. And you can never inject. The referee is not to inject himself to determine an outcome of a game. That's not their job. If it's blatant holding, call it. If you absolutely take your finger and you touch the quarterback on the head, don't call that. They're grown men. If he takes his helmet off and the guy's withering, he's concussed for the 6 months, call it. But we cannot wrap these kids in bubble. It's a violent game for violent people. So don't ticky-tack. That's why the stadiums are full, because they want to see two teams beat each other up. That's football. So let's not throw flags and take that away from the game that makes it the purest, most physical game known to man. Goodbye. Have fun.
There's a mic drop coming after that.
Appreciate it, fellas. You guys talk about row paint.
Appreciate you, Brad. Thanks for joining us, man.
See you guys.
Hey,
Brad Bedell, always appreciate his time. Andy, where else are you with this team, man? Good, bad? Got the game coming up against UNLV. Again, our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, rowpaint.com. They got that Painter for a Day project going on, or not project, but Painter for a Day, where you can hire a painter for a day to work on your projects around the house. As Andy told us last week, all you literally have to do is have the paint, and they show up and you say, I want that part, I want that wall, I want that touched up, and you can hire a painter for a full day there. So some other great options going as well. And there would be no Bronco Nation news. You literally would not be watching this show right now if not for the man on the screen, Andy Rose. So, Andy, we're always very appreciative of you and appreciate when you are able to join us, not just because you're our title sponsor, but because you provide good things as well. I think Matt Bauscher is actually going to join us and talk some basketball later this week as we preview the Idaho game on Friday. But it's your show. It's your platform here, man. What's on your mind?
Well, you guys were talking about the fans, and that's legitimate stuff there. We got to show up and support the team, whether you like what's happening on the field. You could definitely get a sense of, I think all of us weren't happy with how the first half went, but you don't bolt for that. The weather, the late night, all those are legitimate things. But, and I don't want to be the guy it's easy for me to say, because I am sitting upstairs and I was dry. I will freely admit that. But I'll tell you, for decades, I was out there in the stands. I've sat through more cold games than anybody can imagine. And I know there's a lot of fans that have as well. I mean, the 17 or 18 Mountain West Championship game started snowing. Fresno beat us. It was a dagger of a game, and we were just soaked to the bone. Remember the Boston College MPC Computers Bowl, and we're getting beat by 3 or 4 touchdowns, and here we come back with a hailstorm, and, we're stomping our feet. So if you're a football fan, the elements are part of the game. You want those elements to be out there to make some sort of an impact on a team that plays down south and may not see as much cold weather as we see, although they get their fair share of it down there. But so I don't think we can empty out when it gets wet. Now, it was a late start, Parents Weekend, all of those extenuating circumstances. I think the weather's just now turning. I wasn't in Boise the last week, but I heard it was warm, and so maybe fans weren't prepared. Now you are cold and wet. But yeah, it was pretty disappointing to look out and see the stands looking as empty as it was. I don't know if that affected the players playing better or worse, or or had no effect on him. But, you're playing at home. You want that home field advantage, and we bring it when we bring it. So that part was definitely disappointing. You may not be able to control a lot of things about how the university is growing, but you can control that you came prepared, sat in your seat, yelled loud, and you were part of the game if you really love this university and want to see it move forward.
And my whole thing is, and I'm not going to belabor the point, is it's 365 days a year, and you get 6 chances to go to a game, and they sell out every game now too. So it's hard to get a ticket to get in there. And you only get 6 chances, and you get lucky enough to get a ticket and get in there. It'd take a lot more than a little bit of rain and a 50-degree temperature to get me to leave. But as you said, our circumstances are a little different. I understand. I get it. Bronco 130 has found the answer. Sell row paint rain jackets. Maybe that's something you need to.
I like it. Bronco 130. I think you have a spot on our marketing team available.
BSU Bill wants to know your take on Maddox Madsen.
I'll give it. As a human being, awesome guy. He's everything you want Boise State to be. It's that character, that toughness, that scrappiness. I love Maddox Madsen, the human being. Maddox Madsen, the quarterback, is not one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Now, in the Mountain West, so Prater had that article, and he brought some great statistics there. Am I happy he's our quarterback? Absolutely. I think he's a tough guy. He's gritty. He works hard. Does he have deficiencies? For sure. You can't be an honest football fan and not see that, when he gets rattled, he doesn't always make the best decisions. Sometimes his accuracy is off. You see all those things, but to the same point, I was at the Notre Dame game. He didn't have time to think back there. He wasn't getting great protection. So you have to look at the game. It's a symbiotic relationship between the offense, the defense, the O-line, and what Madsen's doing. So I'm not here to make excuses. The guy throws too many interceptions, and I've never seen a quarterback throw so many almost interceptions. My theory on that is he's a baseball player, and he whizzes that thing so hard that those cornerbacks don't even know it's coming their way. They just
Somebody said that earlier on the voicemail. Jesse said he thought some of the short passes, he throws it too hard.
Yeah, probably. And sometimes you wish his vision was a little different, but that's all easy for us up in the stands or on our couches to call for. It's not I don't think it's negative for a fan to say, hey, we want to change, or let's put it this way, we want competition. So you look at the recruits that are coming in next year, there should be competition. And obviously the coaches felt like they did have competition with Cutforth and Annette behind him. But I think sometimes it's okay to bench quarterback too. It doesn't have to be, failure isn't fatal. So, sometimes let him come out, let him catch his breath and see what the other kid can do. My wife became a big Nick Saban fan, during the national championship when he benched Jalen Hurts and Tua came in. And I was like, I can't believe he's doing this. She's like, explain this to me. I said, you don't do that. You don't bench your quarterback on the number one team in the country halfway through the national championship game, but he did it. It worked. And so sometimes you got to make some of those calls. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Madsen sometimes sitting out a series, getting his head right and letting Annette go or Cutforth go in there. Let's see what he can do. It's the coaches. They're going to make the call. They're going to, obviously, you live with what they do, good, bad, or otherwise. And if you look at the history of our quarterbacks, we get a lot of quarterbacks stolen. I mean, what was it last year, the year before? Georgia took one of our quarterbacks. And so sometimes we're down.
They already had a commit that just flipped, I think, to BYU earlier this offseason.
Yeah. So they're recruiting the best that they can, but sometimes we end up with a recruit. And if I remember right, Madsen was one of those. It was the year, I think, Avalos came in and maybe they lost a recruit and he was kind of a last minute recruit. I can't remember, but beside the point, he's earned what he's got. He's earned the opportunities that he has, and fans are fine for asking for a quarterback competition. But just because you don't play well at Notre Dame when you're on your back most of the time and the O-line's not giving you a second to breathe, doesn't mean that you're not the right guy to take us through the Mountain West. Is he the right guy to win the big games? It's easy to start popping, comparisons to Kellen Moore just because they were both undersized. They're both scrappy, but Kellen Moore was a very, very special guy. He just did not get rattled. I can count maybe one time you could even use the word rattled with him. And again, it was a time that he had a big defensive line right up in his face and he maybe threw an errant throw. So it's frustrating at times for sure, but he's our guy and I don't see that changing anytime in the future. I definitely think there should be competition, but are you going to see, let's say he runs through this season and we win the Mountain West Championship. Are you going to have a real quarterback competition in his senior year with a senior quarterback that's won multiple, 3 Mountain West championships. I don't know.
I think this team's winning out. I think this team is winning out, at least in the regular season. I think they played 2 pretty darn good teams. I think they had some issues in the South Florida game. And if they played them again, I think it'd be a different game. The Notre Dame game, they just got beat by a better team. I still think they're clearly better, as evident by an 11-point spread against the undefeated UNLV this week on Saturday. I just believe, maybe it's a little tough game at San Diego State, next month. But I believe for the most part, they're going to just roll through the Mountain West here. And I don't know if that says more about the Mountain West or Boise State, but I think they're going to I personally think they're going to be 10-2 back in the championship at home. They're going to be 11-2, probably go to the LA Bowl, which is the very next Saturday, by the way. 1 week, you get it over with on the 14th, I think it is. And you have a chance to go 11-3 or 12-2 and be 3-time Mountain West champs on the way out the door. And I think a lot of people will, think it's a great season and Madison finishes strong. If that's the case, Brad, if that's the case, Andy, I think it's going to be hard, as you said, to you're going to go on a 7 or 8 game winning streak, win the Mountain West, be 11-3, whatever, and all of a sudden say you're going to start somebody else against Oregon in the first game next season. I don't see that happening.
Well, think about it too. What the 2 quarterbacks behind him right now, they're the fans are always clamoring for a change, but are they going to put us in a better position to win? And are they either of them elite? Now look at some of the recruits coming in. Do we have some elite young quarterbacks that come in and might, sit on the bench for a season and then truly, so nothing wrong with some of those young guys learning from a veteran like Madsen, who's had to grind it out, that gritty play. Again, you wish the accuracy is there a little bit. And then sometimes he makes plays and you're just like, holy cow, how did you pull that one off? So, speaking of South Florida, one thought I had after this weekend was I think the odds of Boise being the college football player this year are pretty slim right now, what I see.
Sure.
It makes you feel a little bit worse, though, that the Pac-12 was unsuccessful in bringing those 3 teams in. You're looking at what Tulane, Memphis, and South Florida is doing right now.
Oh, yeah.
Man, what we may not be considered the Power 5 conference with those 3 teams, but, man, you definitely have the best of the rest in that scenario. So wonder if they're going to be able to pull something like that off. But, yeah, I think it's a long shot for Boise for the college football playoff. I think you've got the right viewpoint of it is, best case scenario right now as we play this out, we get our Mountain West championship. And we fill the stands and we're loud. So they get that home field advantage. Who are we tied with? Bama? Bama could certainly lose. So
I think they're at home against Tennessee this week, who's ranked top 15.
Yeah. So, you never know. We could be taking over that spot of the longest home winning streak, which we had a lot of times throughout history. So it'd be really cool to get that back. Good reason to stick through all night, all 60 minutes of it.
Folks are asking if you're willing to pony up the $1 million to help get a QB in the portal.
You know what? Look at what just happened to James Franklin. There's times where things happen, and it's almost I almost take some discouragement away from it because it's like, man, these universities can afford to pay $50 million to James Franklin, who at the beginning of the season they were calling that this might be the national championship contender, was in the quarterfinals last year. And now he's just gone. I mean, whether you like James Franklin or not.
Semifinals. They were in the Final Four, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, sorry, the semifinals. Yeah, they were playing Notre Dame. So you're sitting there. This feels like a Mac Brown fire to me. Like, I mean, really, do you guys really think, Matt Rule or Signetti's a great coach? Obviously, he's proven it there. But Franklin's a great coach too. Look what he's done. There's the big game stuff. They're playing hard, big games. I don't know. So yeah, when you start talking about the money that it's yes. I can categorically let you know I am not one of the anonymous $1 million donors. But hey,
I've said that. I really hope I get to, and I'll never be there. But it must be nice to have an extra $1 million you can give away, and B, not need to hit anybody to know about it.
Well, and I'll tell you, just from sponsors, we're coming up on 9 or 10 years of working with Boise State and being a sponsor, and every year it's been a little bit different. And it's been these last couple of years have been a tougher economy, at least for the Rowe Paint family. So, yeah, I mean, every year we got to look at that and say, what can we afford to do? How can we best support it? And I think, whether it's the blue collar club or whatever it is, whatever fans can do to be supportive of it at whatever level, we're all doing our best. And we know who we are. We're Boise State. We're not going to have Texas, Ohio State money. It's never going to happen. And so, and that may be it continues to make that Fiesta Bowl so much more special. We know that we're outpaced. So that's what makes it fun to watch football, is seeing the teams come together, seeing the chemistry that they get, seeing the scrappy underdog. I mean, those are all the reasons why, we at Rowe Paint want to be affiliated with Boise State is, We are this big money university. We are scrappy. We're underdogs, but we work hard. JD does a great job. When JD says, yeah, there's a problem with this, he's got a right to say that. Dude's the hardest working AD that I've ever seen. Not just my opinion. Look at the awards that he got last year. So, they're doing everything that they can. Again, what we can do as fans, we can give them our voice for a couple hours, bring a rain jacket and be loud.
Well, what fans can also do is support you, Andy, for what you're doing. Rowpaint.com. I know you guys got some great projects and things going on. I mentioned the painter for a day, but if folks are looking around, and needing that painting project done or maybe the concrete coating in that garage or basement, give us the lowdown on why they should give you guys a call.
Yeah, I mean, it's just experience. We've been around the Valley for 25 years. We're going to come in. If it comes to the concrete coatings, there's very few concrete coatings we don't have someone on our staff experienced working with. So we do a lot of those at the industrial level, food factories, agricultural areas, mining areas. So we can come up with a coating that's going to work for you in your home or your business. We just launched our winter discount. We typically run a discount in the wintertime for interior projects. So that could be up to 20% off an interior paint project. So if you got something that you're trying to get done, obviously something as small as a painter for a day, but we also do the big projects. So whatever we can do for you, be a part of it. We had a customer that we had to tell our schedule is full for our log home restorations earlier this year. And we said, if you need to get it done this year, you probably have to go with someone else, or you can go onto the list for next year. And his response was, we'll wait until Row Painting can do it. Go Broncos. So we really appreciate, the support of the fan base of Boise State. We love being aligned with the Boise State fan base, and yeah, go Broncos. And if you need anything paint and coatings, let us know how we can help.
Well, like I said, maybe some people would be happier. All the naysayers in this chat would be happier if there was, if I wasn't talking on here right now, if there was no show. But I think by and large, folks enjoy, a 9 a.m. show, enjoy the pre and post game coverage. And if you do, and you like what we got here going on at BNN, you need to support folks like Andy Rowe, folks. Next painting project you have, let the professionals handle it. And, they can do, like I said, as simple as painting a wall for you that needs to be repainted all the way up to the concrete coatings and the big stuff. And you guys can do the exterior siding and things on a house, right? You can do all kinds of painting projects. You touched up some siding at our old house. So Andy, really appreciate you, man. Thanks for helping give this platform, along with all of our other major sponsors, for fans and for keeping this show going now on 4 years. And you've been there since day one, and we appreciate you. And hopefully folks will return the favor and even if they disagree with your Madsen take or something, hit you up for some painting projects here in the near future.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. I'm not only a sponsor, I'm a fan. I enjoy what the content you guys produce, to where I go to listen for everything that I can. So often, if I'm working on some projects, some email in my office in the morning, I've got the show going on in the background, and I'm listening in too.
Well, we appreciate you, Andy. Thanks a lot, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me on, BJ.
There he is, Andy Rowe, best in the business. And again, folks, I don't just say this. I mean, we there literally would not have been a Bronco Nation News starting if not for Andy Rowe and rowpaint.com. So he's got great takes, and we love having him on. But I truly do mean it when I say, if you can support our sponsors, whether it's buying a new car from Lithia, starting a bank account with ICCU, buying some gear from the Blue and Orange store, hitting up Matt Bauscher when you're ready to buy a house, all of our great sponsors, going and eating at Taco Bell and visiting Jackson's to get those trading cards or that coffee. It all adds up, folks. And, tell them you heard about it on BNN. You appreciate it. And, when everyone needs a painting project done or that concrete coating done at some point, hopefully you'll consider going with our sponsors and Andy Rowe and rowpaint.com because of the great work that they do, and we appreciate them. Hey, speaking of our sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Mention Taco Bell. We appreciate them for their support. We also appreciate Jackson's. They'll have the Riley and Ridge show tomorrow night. And how about this? Amarion McCoy and Jeremiah Irby live at the James Kitchen and Bar tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Amarion McCoy just had that interception last week, had the pick six a couple weeks ago. If you want to meet Amarion McCoy and Jeremiah Irby, they will be the live guests on the Riley and Ridge show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on Bronco Nation News there at Jackson's. We're working on a RJ Keene show for 7 o'clock. We'll let you know on that. Again, Jackson's, check them out today, and we appreciate our friends over at Jackson's. And Lithia Ford of Boise, appreciate them as well. LithiaFordBoise.com. You can never a better time to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle, and we will try to get out there on Friday again. Friday, we're going to be riding around in a vehicle, I believe, again on Friday. So hit us up on Friday. We appreciate Lithia Ford of Boise, online at LithiaFordBoise.com. Jim Sturk, Jamie Drake, the whole crew over there. You talk about NIL and support in Boise State. There's not many that do it bigger than Jim Sturk at Lithia Ford of Boise. So we appreciate Jim and all of our great sponsors here at Bronco Nation News. Don't forget, we are doing the voicemail $500 gift card to Shields. It's very easy. You just go to speakpipe.com/BNN. It's a website. It's easy. You don't actually call in. You just kind of record it right there off your phone, right there off your computer. Speakpipe.com/BNN. It's very easy, very quick. Leave us a voicemail, your thoughts on the fans leaving early, your thoughts on Madsen, your thoughts on Stacey Collins and the special teams. Haven't really talked about them much this game, giving up the kick return touchdown. Any thoughts you have, we would love to hear from you. And I watched the Missouri postgame last week, and they had like 30 voicemails on the postgame. So, Johnny and Prater get the postgame calls. We want the postgame voicemails. We want your thoughts. We love them in the chat, but we'll take them as well on the postgame show, in terms of getting them into the system there. So it's brought to you by Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades, whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, or an inspection. Online, mysignatureroofing.com. Again, they put our roof on last summer. Tremendous process every step of the way. It was so easy. And these guys are big supporters of the local teams and the local community. So return the favor next time you're looking for a roof, and make sure you let them know that you heard about it on Bronco Nation News, and they'll try to give you the best deal that they can. We had a family reach out that they had them out for an estimate, and I let Signature Roofing know, and I believe they gave them a great deal, and hopefully they're going to go with them and get a deal done there. So leave us a voicemail. We appreciate Jesse for being the first one to leave us a voicemail for this week. And then obviously you'll be able to have, the rest of the week, all day today. Get that voicemail in. We'll play them on the show all week. We'll play them on the post-game show. And then next Monday, we'll give it away. But congratulations to Jen. Jen was our winner of the Signature Roofing Voice Inbox $500 gift card to Shields. She was the only female to leave a voicemail. And I think Johnny disagreed with her call, but she had a good take, and she ends up winning. So we appreciate Jen for chiming in. And I know it's maybe got to be brave a little bit to put your voice out there publicly and your opinion out there publicly. But Jen, we appreciate it. And you're the winner. $500 gift card to Shields. Hopefully others will get some voicemails in this week. And then we'll be set to go. So a lot to discuss, getting set for Saturday's game. We do have Boise State basketball. The KenPom rankings are out. Boise State, the Mountain West, got some good what do you call it? Respect from KenPom there in terms of the Mountain West basketball rankings. KenPom had Boise State, I believe, third when it came to the KenPom rankings. And so I was pretty impressed, actually. I thought Boise State got some pretty good respect when it comes to KenPom. I'll see if it'll let me throw the screenshot up here. Oh, it's not going to let me for some reason right now. All right. I'll see if I can move this over to here. Maybe it'll let me all of a sudden. Let's try this. The KenPom rankings for Boise State. I think it's going to work now. All right, it's going to be kind of small on the screen and hard to see here, but Boise State comes in third in the Mountain West in the preseason KenPom rankings at number 53. San Diego State's first, Utah State's 42nd. But for me, it's Colorado State, Grand Canyon, Nevada, and New Mexico. Even New Mexico has so many new players, whole new roster starting at number 97 at KenPom. So you have 7 teams in the top 100 at KenPom. You have 10 teams in the top 160. Only one team right now outside the top 200. Some pretty good respect for the Mountain West when it comes to the KenPom rankings. So we'll see how this plays out throughout the season, but a nice starting point for Boise State basketball to be 53rd in the KenPom rankings, and certainly a chance to improve upon that. And by the way, the Maui Invitational, great field for the Maui Invitational when it comes to KenPom rankings. USC is 22nd. NC State 38th, Texas 39th, Boise State's 53rd, obviously. Arizona State 75th, Seton Hall 93rd, Washington State 137, and then Chaminade's the D2 school. But Boise State gets a top 25 KenPom team, number 22 USC in the first round. The best team in the tournament, USC. Boise State gets to play them, and that's going to help the KenPom ranking there and all the metrics. That's a great game for Boise State to get USC in the first game. And then win or lose, right now they get another top 100 team. They either play NC State, who's 38th, or Seton Hall, who's 93rd. So you're looking at two quality games in the first two games of that Maui Invitational, and then you either get Texas, who's 39th, Arizona, who's 75th, or Washington State 137, or Chaminade. So a chance to get a quad one game for sure, and then maybe another quad one game, but certainly some quad two opportunities. So the Maui Invitational, I think, is going to be a nice opportunity for Boise State, and people want to kind of get down on that and say, okay, the basketball, the Maui Invitational is not quite as good as it's been in the past, but I think for Boise State, it's kind of nice to get you're getting potentially two quad one games and a quad two game out of it. I think it's a very nice field when it's all said and done. It's going to be a great opportunity for Boise State to get some quality games. Another great opportunity Friday night against Idaho. Boise State basketball in action this Friday night against Idaho, the downtown Idaho Central Arena. Make it a weekend, folks. Head and watch some basketball at Idaho Central Arena and get ready for the football game on Saturday against UNLV. So there are plenty of tickets still remaining. I know they're a little bit pricey, but hopefully folks will step up and buy those tickets and make it a fun game there at the Idaho Central Arena in downtown Boise. You want to get your first look at Boise State basketball. You want to see them play Idaho in the rivalry and kind of get a taste. I mean, in the years past, they've never done this, guys. They usually play two private scrimmages, and that first time going to see the team is that opening game of the season. But they're doing an actual open exhibition for fans. It'll be a full game, and you get to come check the team out and kind of see the different players and get an idea of this team moving forward for the regular season. So pretty cool deal on Friday night. We'll have live pregame and postgame shows from the game at the downtown arena, and looking forward to that. Bronco Nation News pregame, postgame, and we appreciate Lithia Ford of Boise for the pregame show. Also, Jackson's for the postgame show as usual. Bronco 130 says I'll be there, so there you go. So just make plans to be at the game, but we will have pregame and postgame shows for that as well for Boise State and Idaho. Looking forward to that on Friday. We'll have shows every morning this week. And as I said, two shows tomorrow night with the Riley and Ridge show. Amarion McCoy and Jeremiah Irby will be live at the James Kitchen and Bar for that show. And then hoping to have Leon Rice on the RJ Keene show tomorrow, looking to finalize those details. We'll let you know tomorrow morning for that. So appreciate you guys. Over an hour and 20 minutes on today's show. Great viewership. Appreciate you guys. Thanks to Brad. Thanks to Andy. Go support the sponsors, folks. I know it sometimes seems like I'm begging, but I mean, these sponsors pony up to help us. And we had 11 people on the payroll last month that I had to pay, and we pay for all of our I guess you say, I was going to say auxiliary staff, but all of our contributors, we pay for them using money from the advertisers on the podcast here. So support these sponsors, and this directly impacts how we can, add staff or whether or not we have to cut staff or whatever. It really does come from, this sponsoring of this podcast. And so if you support these sponsors and they keep supporting the podcast, we can keep in the live show. We can continue to keep having those guys and even add more in the near future here. So appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you in about 90 minutes. Spencer Danielson is going to have a live press conference down at Boise State, and Nate Potter, Eric Chenander, they will preview the UNLV game. We will stream that live coming up at 12 noon. So join us about 11:55. We'll start the live stream on YouTube. And we will stream the Spencer Danielson, Nate Potter, Eric Chenander press conference live coming up at 11:55 a.m. here in a little over an hour and a half. So thank you, guys. We'll talk to you in an hour and a half. We'll be chatting with you there in the YouTube chat. Go subscribe to BroncoNationNews.com. We had some great post-game coverage. We'll have Nathan Carroll's snap count PFF grade article going up here shortly from the game as well. We got that 30% off deal going on right now. So if you've ever thought about a subscription to Bronco Nation News, now's the perfect time to jump in. And we would love to have you jump on board, BroncoNationNews.com. They had some recruits in town over the weekend. Chris Van Sickle's been catching up with them. Brandon Huffman caught up with a running back commit that got an offer. So a lot of great recruiting news at BroncoNationNews.com as well. And we have fun all day chatting in the message boards there with fans as well. So check on out if you haven't seen us, the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, part of the 24/7 sports family. Subscribe there. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button while you're here, and turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. And we'll talk to you guys later. We'll see you in the message boards at BroncoNationNews.com, and we'll see you at 11:55 a.m. when the stream goes live for the Spencer Danielson weekly press conference at noon. We'll stream that live here on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. So thanks, guys. Have a great day, and then we'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Excuse me. Tomorrow will be at 10:30. We got practice tomorrow. We're going to watch practice, and then we'll be at 10:30 tomorrow. Jay Tust and I will be live at 10:30 tomorrow for the programming note for tomorrow's show. So 10:30 tomorrow for Jay Tust and I. Appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day. We'll send you out with the pregame scene. 7 Nation Army as the Broncos took the field for the New Mexico game. They end up winning. Should be another electric atmosphere against UNLV on Saturday. And we appreciate you guys. We'll see you soon.